Welcome to a Solana price prediction for 2025. Solana has been doing very good recently. It actually went up like 800% in a few months and it shows no signs of wanting to go down. Of course, we got this correction right here, which was needed, and now we're pretty much consolidating above the 200-day moving average. If Solana was to go down, it would probably go down to the $127 level to test the 200-day moving average. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but we might want to do it considering we are way above it. If we don't, however, I expect the price to go higher and higher until it reaches the new all-time high. Right now, the RSI is looking pretty bullish. If we look at the last cycle, when we were at like $250, the RSI was 95. Right now, I've seen a lot of people say that this might be the top of this cycle for Solana. And I think that's just wrong, considering the RSI was like 80 when we hit $210 this cycle. So I still think we have a long way to go until we reach these levels again. Also, this chart is looking really bullish. I mean, if we did something like, I don't know, maybe this, we could go down like 70% and could still remain bullish. Just like Cardano, Solana is also consolidating above the moving average of the RSI, which you can see this is the yellow line right here, and it shows almost no signs of wanting to go below it. If it does end up going below it, then I will have to change my prediction to a more bearish one. Actually, I'm not sure if going below it is going to impact the price that much. Of course, the price is going to go down. But if we look here, we also tested it for a brief moment and we actually went below it. And then what happened? We went up like crazy. Solana went down a lot in the bear market, just like other altcoins. But compared to other altcoins, Solana lost almost all of its value. So seeing this happen is very bullish. But remember, everything that goes up must come down at some point. So I will not be surprised if we get a sharp correction in the next few months. If we don't, that's okay, but if we do, then it's gonna be normal. I mean, of course, going down to like $40 might scare a lot of people, and a lot of people might end up selling because of that. But honestly, it has happened before. I actually want to zoom in on the previous cycle and see what Solana was doing before it got this huge pump, to see if we can find any pattern that could help us understand why it got this pump. I wish there was data for this part right here, I mean the RSI. I wish we had the RSI for this so I could judge this movement better, but we have no data on this, so yeah. Anyways, I want you to look at these last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. If we look right here, we had 2 red candles, just like right here. Then we got a small pump, not as big as this one right here, but we got a pump after the red candles. Then we got a red candle again, which went down, I guess, quite a lot. And it even went below the moving average. And then we got this crazy pump right here. This pump, I mean, let's just check out this pump. This pump went up about what, 24%, 25%, something like that. And this one went up like 200%. Of course, we cannot compare the first cycle to the second cycle. In the first cycle, the price of Solana was like $1 to $2, and in this cycle, on this candle, we went from about $17 to like $22. So we're like a 10x more from what we were right here. Also, I just noticed even this right here looks very similar. It's not quite the same percentages, but the layout of it looks actually very similar. Also, if we look at when the halvings happened, we'll see that right now we are ahead of schedule. If you look right here, I mean, let's check out the percentages of Solana after the halving happened. So in the month of the halving, Solana went up about 58%. And then in the next 2 months, it went up about 600%. And this cycle, Solana went up about 30%. And right now, we're pretty much consolidating. Of course, we cannot compare the cycles. As we can see here, it started way later than it did right here. So we might be early, or this might not even be the halving pump. What do I mean by the halving pump? Well, of course, Bitcoin went up and Solana went up with it. So why do I think Solana went up? Well, Just look at Bitcoin. Solana's chart is pretty much a copy of Bitcoin's. Of course, we have this crazy wick right here, which did not really happen on Bitcoin. It went down about 18%, and on Solana it went down about 42%. Oh, it's almost triple. But altcoins do tend to bleed against Bitcoin when it drops in price. But then again, is this really bleeding? I mean, we went up, what, 800% in 5 months. Was this consolidation really that bad? Now, let me get rid of these things because we don't need them anymore. Also, just a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, so whatever I'm about to say is just speculation and it's just my opinion. So if you don't agree with me, please leave a comment and we'll talk there. I want to talk about the RSI more for a bit. So right now the RSI is at 64, I would say, and the price is around, let's say, $160. Last cycle, when we were at $160, the RSI was pretty much oversold like crazy and it was like 92. So again, for the people that say this is the bull market top, they could not be more wrong. Solana's chart is looking very, very bullish. Also, this is the Solana Bitcoin chart, and as you can see, it looks very similar to the Solana chart, although the RSI numbers are a bit lower, and right now we are at an RSI of like 58. Just like Solana, if the RSI goes below this yellow line, then I will start turning bearish. But just for a slight moment, because even if we went below the line and we tested it, it still has potential to go back up. So for the next cycle, I expect the RSI to go up to these levels right here. And as you can see, we're not even close to it. So Solana is probably going to start outperforming Bitcoin when the altcoin season happens. Right now, I don't think we can call this an altcoin season. Same goes for the Solana chart, which looks very similar actually. Although on the Solana Bitcoin chart, we did not even get to the overbought territory, which means we still have a long way to go. Now, of course, this does not confirm a altcoin season, but it damn sure feels like one is coming up really soon. So what do I think Solana will do in the next bull market? Well, my first target is around $500, which is the 100% extension. Usual targets for a trend-based Fibonacci extensions are pretty much the 1618 and the 2618 levels. The 3618 could also be a target, but I believe this is way too high for this cycle, so we'll ignore it for now. So I believe in the next few months we will test this right here to see if we can actually break it, and we might or we might not succeed. If we don't succeed, I expect the price to do something like this and then to drop like maybe even to this level. Maybe not, maybe it will drop to this level before it starts going up again and starts reaching these higher levels. Now, of course, nobody can predict where the price will go and why it will go down or up, so this is just speculation. I don't think there's a person in existence that predicted how a crypto chart will look in the bull cycle. So we might get this, we might go down to these $60 levels, and we might get a crazy pump all of a sudden, and then we might do this. Nobody knows. What I do know is that the 0.382 extension is very important. So if we don't manage to break this in the next, I would say, 8 months, then I will start turning bearish. I expect the price of Solana to go to the 1.618 extension, which is at like $600. And from the bear market low, that would put the price at about, let's see, about a 8,000% return on investments, which would be insane, of course. But if we compare this to the previous cycle, if we take the low right here and the high, we'll see that Solana went up 121,000%. Of course, Solana was new at that time, so we can expect diminishing returns. But are these diminishing returns if it's like 8,000%? And even if we don't go to this level, even if we go to like this level, it's still gonna be a 5,000%. Also, when do I think the bull market will end? Probably somewhere around September to October next year. Why am I saying that? Well, it's pretty much what it did in the previous cycle. I don't expect this cycle to go on until 2026. I expect it to end in 2025 at some point. And just like in my Cardano prediction, I expect the price to go up, to get rejected by this line right here, then to test whatever it wants to test before it goes up and tries reaching new highs like the 100% extension and the 1618 extension. My most bearish scenario for Solana right now is if it was to do something like this, then test this right here, get rejected, test it again and get rejected again. I don't think this is going to happen, but it is possible that it will happen. So yeah, this is my bearish price prediction. How about my bullish price prediction? My bullish price prediction for Solana will be if it did something like this. So we get rejected by the 0.382 extension, then we go down, then we get above it and we hit a new high. My bullish price prediction is like $670, but not expect the price to be exactly $670. It might stop here, it might stop here, it might get rejected by this line. It might even go here. My very bullish price prediction is something like $900. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to happen, considering that would be a 11,000% return on investment, but if that were to happen, then it obviously would be very bullish. We are in a very bullish market right now, and Solana is looking really strong. So even if Bitcoin decides for whatever reason that it wants to go down to like the 20k level, and it wants to go something like this, which is a 70% drop, coins like Solana will probably not be affected by it as much. So if Bitcoin gets a 70% drop, Solana will get something like maybe an 87% drop, which will put the price at like $25. This is one of the worst case scenarios that can happen. I don't think this can happen at all. An 88% drop in the bull market that's just not possible. Also, for those interested, I also want to give you a price prediction for the next cycle. So if the price was to go about like the $500 level, I would expect the next cycle to pretty much go to maybe 1,500 to probably even 2,000 bucks. Now, if it were to go up even higher to like the maybe, I don't know, $700 to $770 level, the next bull market might look something like this. We might get something like 2,270 or something. Of course, nobody knows, and Solana might just start going up like crazy, like Ethereum did back in the day, and we might get these crazy pumps that nobody expects. But let's remember, it can also do something like this and just do nothing for the next 5 years. It's all up to the market, and stuff like this cannot really be predicted, but from what I've seen so far, I can see the price going up to the $600 level in the next cycle. And again, this is just up to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides it wants to get a left translated cycle, then we will probably get a big drop and this will be the top. Do I think that's going to happen? Not really. I will make a video about Bitcoin as well, so make sure to subscribe for that. So yeah, that was my Solana price prediction for the next bull market. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Maybe even leave a comment about what I said in this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I am open to feedback and I would love to hear what you think about this. So for the next year, I will keep this on my chart and we'll see if my prediction was correct or if it wasn't. Anyways, I will see you in the next one.